got me to write a screenplay. So I didn't miss anybody because I was writing anyway. So I didn't have to wear a mask much because I was writing anyway. So when I finally finished the screenplay and went out, it was a surprise to me what was going on, because I had missed the first 3 months of COVID,
Yeah.
Just by sitting in the house.
Can you give
So
us?
it was.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No, yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say if you give us a little hint what you're working on.
Oh, it's a comedy thriller. So it's kind of difficult. I showed it to some sub CEO, some CEO's assistant or something. I don't know, from a major company, and they liked it, but they said that it was. They said, "Geez, you got like a lot of genres in here." But not my excuse. The real reason is I'm kind of eclectic. I'm a what do you call it? I'm a collagist. I mean, I just collect. If there's a murder or there's a vampire or there's a funny thing, I'll just put them all into one script. I don't care about genres. I just care about what's funny and what's thriller and what's comedy. That's all.
Well, they're so concerned with genre because they want you to be able to be in a Google search.
Exactly. However, when I registered the script with WGA, with the Writers Guild, you have to fill out a form. Okay, that's cool. All right. So, you fill out your name and your social security and blah, 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 the name of the script and the genre. Okay, so a thriller. And then there's a subgenre. Okay, comedy. And then there's sub-subgenres. And the yeah, it's crazy, man. And the sub-subgenres, there's about 50 sub-subgenres. And you got to click each sub-subgenre that kind of relates to your screenplay. That's just to register it. That has nothing to do with Google. So, I mean, it's getting very complex. And I know why, because everybody's writing a screenplay now. I mean, everybody in the world is writing a screenplay and sending them to Hollywood. But nobody has any of the specs of how to write a script. So people are sending in from all over the world to all these, companies, production companies, and they have no idea of how a script should really be put together so it's readable to somebody who's going to make it. Not like a reader who's reading a novel or anything. But there's certain. I mean, I had to learn this in the last couple of months, so that I didn't know this. I was just like everybody else.
Well, I lived out there for a while. I was in the show business myself, and so were my kids. Okay. And just about every waiter you ran into in the Hollywood area, they're all writing a screenplay. Every single one of them are.
Right. But they all don't have the right format.
Right.
So the secret that nobody knows is the readers who read these things, they'll read maybe the first 10 pages. That's like the rule. But if they're reading it and they get through about 3 or 4 or 5 pages and they see that it's not in the format of screenplays, they won't read it. So it doesn't matter. You could have the greatest story in the world. If your format isn't right, they're getting really very anally specific. So if your first 4 or 5 pages aren't right, they'll just throw it aside.
Yeah.
Because they're getting so many. I mean, I've been a witness to one where a couple of years ago, I had a guy read my script. He read my log line, what it was about. And he was interested. So he said, okay, let's have a meeting. Let's face to face, which is very rare. And I said, wow, man, that's cool. So I go, he gives me a name, number of an office address. I go to the office and it's one of these rent-a offices, where you just have 2 chairs, a desk and a phone. Well, this is a long time ago. A phone and a phone book. And that was the office. So I thought, oh man, he just rented this. I mean, he's not a real guy. He's just like me. He just rented an office and now he's a producer. So I give him the screenplay. Oh no, he had an office. I'm sorry. I'm telling the 2 stories at the same time. He had an office. It was a nice office. I go to the office and I hand him the screenplay. He said, you bring the screenplay with you? Yeah. I hand it to him. You won't touch it. He just says, throw it on the desk. So he throws it on the desk. He says, I want to talk to you first. So we're talking for about 5 minutes, and then he says, "Okay, thank you very much, and I'll read it." And I said, "Great, thank you." And it was a really nice office, so I figured, "Hey, I'm in." As I'm walking out of the office, I look back. I see him take the screenplay, and I hadn't noticed this before. He takes the screenplay, he turns around to behind him, and he throws this screenplay on a stack of screenplays that's from one, I swear to God, man, from one side of his office to the other, and it's about 3 feet, no, it's about 2 feet high, 2 or 3 feet high, of screenplays. And when he threw it on this stack of screenplays from one wall to the other, suddenly my screenplay just totally disappeared. And I thought, he's never going to get that. I never heard from him again, you know. So, I mean, that's what's going on here.
Yeah.
It's, and then you got the COVID on top of that. And then this California, which is a bad state for COVID right now. It's, wow, man. I can't, I mean, politically, it's ridiculous. Artistically, it's ridiculous. I don't know. And then you go and everybody's on Zoom now, and you know that's really a poor substitute for personal contact. So it's very strange. I mean, you go outside and everybody's got a mask on, but I live by the beach, so nobody has a mask on.
Yeah,
it's the beach, man. We're here. It's ridiculous.
Well,
you know, and I gave up telling people, you know, hey, why don't you put a mask on? I gave that up. Holy cow.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea, Larry.
The venom that you get.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa.
We are on the phone right now with Larry Hankin. He has a very familiar face. If you see his face, you'll know him. He's worked on certain things as he was Joe in Breaking Bad. He was in Malcolm in the Middle. He was the neighbor in Friends. He's been on episodes of Monk and a multitude of other things. He's an actor. He's a writer. He's a producer. Can I ask you about a little bit of your work? Is that okay?
Yeah, that's what I thought we were going to talk about.
Well, all these things that we mentioned, you know, to me, I mean, as I was a Seinfeld, you know, junkie.
Me too.
Yeah. And I mean, tell me about how that came to be. And, you know, when I see your pictures online, it didn't look like you really had to do a whole lot but show up to get that part.
Oh, no, man. That was the worst. I mean, no, it's not the worst, but the longest audition I've ever had for anything. I had to audition 5 times. And they're supposed to pay you after 3 auditions. They just pay. I auditioned 5 times. They didn't pay me at all. Didn't mention it. I didn't know about it until after it was all over. But I didn't mention it. But the weird thing about that audition was when I went to the audition. When you go to an audition, you're used to sitting in a whole room of people who you know are auditioning for the same part you are, or various and sundry parts for the same show, the same episode, blah blah blah. So you recognize people who are kind of like you physically or, you know, for the part. Okay, that's cool. And I would meet Michael Richards at other auditions all the time. We were friends.
I bet,
way before Seinfeld. Because we would be auditioning for the same roles all the time.
But did you do stand-up? Did you do stand-up at any time or was no? Oh,
yeah. I was big in stand-up. I was opening for Miles Davis and the Kingston Trio and Woody Allen and everybody. I mean, yeah, Ian and Sylvia and the Blues Project and I was big. I was on lots of TV shows and stuff like that. But I couldn't take the heat because after a while I started getting to Richard Pryor territory and George Carlin and Lenny Bruce. I mean, those are my heroes. So that's what I was doing. And it was the late 60s, so TV wasn't ready for it. And I had the same manager as Woody Allen back then, and he was, you know, doing a lot of TV. And I would call him and I'd say, "Hey, Jack, you know, Woody's on television and I'm not. I'm just still playing clubs and opening for rock and roll guys. Get me on there." And he goes, "Larry, you have no television material whatsoever." Sure. I mean, my show is full of, you know, what everybody's talking about, sex, drugs, and rock and roll, you know, and like Lenny, like Richie, like whatever, you know. And, but I wasn't famous yet. And I didn't have the balls for it, man. I was a middle class Jewish kid. I kept on saying, look, police were taking me off the stage. People were coming at me with beer bottles. They were throwing, in arenas, you have the old arenas, the armrests. They were wooden armrests, and you could hit them from behind, and they would come off. And so I was opening for Love and Spoonful in Washington D.C. Washington University in St. Louis, Missouri. So it was a college show. It was Washington University. So I thought, hey, sex, drugs, rock and roll, Love and Spoonful. We're cool. I'm cool. So I started talking, and I started saying, fuck and marijuana and naked people and breasts and penises and all that stuff. And they started booing and not rioting, but booing. And when I kept going and I said, hey, man, this is sex, drugs, rock and roll. What's going on? It's the 60s. And well, okay. So they started taking off these armrests and throwing them at me. Just in the first two rows, only guys, no girls were doing this. And they were throwing them at me. And the Love and Spoonful were off in the wings saying, keep going, because they wanted to riot. It
sounds like any given night in Portland.
Yeah, now. But this is in the 60s, man. And they weren't ready for it. I don't know. So finally, I was talking to them. I was yelling at the people saying, hey, what's more wrong with you people? You're a college student. And the weird thing was I wasn't doing drugs at the time. I wasn't doing any of that stuff at the time. And just in the middle of all this, they're throwing, and the guys in the back, way in the back row, were pulling their armrests off and passing them down to the first two rows of guys who had run out of armrests. So they were passing them down. It was like ammunition.
Yeah, in the Middle East, what they do is when they disapprove of you, they like to hit you with a shoe. I guess. I guess the armrest is for stand-up comedians. It's the armrest. Right. I don't know.
But anyway, in the middle of all this, 20 police, 10 on each side, the wall aisles. 10 cops on each side come marching down up on the stage, and they pulled me off the stage. And I'm going, what the hell is going on, man? And they go, oh, we got a call that there's a filthy mouth comedian on the stage. The dean called the cops on me. So I was doing, and that started to happen, and just all the time. I mean, I'd play a nightclub. I was opening for at number 1 Fifth Avenue, which is a posh Tony bistro. A guy came across the dance floor, because the stage in nightclubs are only about, 5 inches, 10 inches high, for the band, because there's a dance floor. So I see out of the darkness, there's a light in my eyes. I see a guy come out of the darkness, and he's got a suit on, but he looked like a lumberjack. He was much taller than me, big, starker guy. And he has an upside down beer bottle in his fist. And he just said, get the fuck off the stage and bring on the Kingston Trio. I go, whoa, man. Whoa. I go, okay, yes, sir. And I just got off the stage, I go sit at the bar. And the bartender comes over to me. He says, what the hell are you doing? He says, what are you doing over here, man? You just got a show. I said, did you see the guy with the beer bottle come at me? He goes, yeah. I said, well, I'm not going on. He's going to beat me up, man. I mean, I'm not here to be beat up. I'm here to be funny.
First.
That's
safety
the difference.
First.
Yeah. And right. Yeah. So he says, I said, where's the bouncer, man? And he goes, I'm the bouncer. Get back on the stage. The Kingston Trio doesn't come on for 10 minutes. So I said, no, unless you get that guy out of here. And he says, no, you're not. If you don't get back on the stage, you're not getting paid. I said, I'm not getting back on the stage. He says, you're fired. So I said, okay, fine. And I just walked outside into a blizzard. It was in Boston. It was a blizzard out. So I had to kind of slink my way back. And can I use your phone, man? I got to call a cab. But so that was it. So I called my manager. Said, I'm out. I'm out. I can't. I'm not Richie Pryor. I don't do drugs yet. I don't want to do this anymore. It's not fun. I was just doing it for fun. So he goes, okay, then why don't you join Second City? They're doing the same thing Lenny's doing and Richie's doing and George, but they own the theater. So if a guy comes at you with a beer bottle, they kick him out. So that's what I did. I auditioned for Second City in New York, and I got the job. They sent me to Chicago. They sent me to St. Louis and then Chicago, and then we broke off and went to San Francisco and started our own company, and we were a big hit. So Hollywood came up to us. We didn't go down there. They were flying up. All these heavy hitters, producers, which we couldn't. If we went down to Hollywood, we couldn't get in.
No, they'd have paid you no mind. They'd have paid you no mind.
Yeah, there was no way. But because we had a hit show in San Francisco that was like Second City in Chicago, and it was only $30 back in them days for a round trip plane fare, they would just fly up, all these big hitters, and we were being hired to go down to do sitcoms, and then we'd come back. So we were living the life of Riley, man. It was great.
Hey, look, I want to get your opinion on something real quick, because I know you're a New Yorker by trade. Are you from Long Island? Are you a Long Island guy?
Yeah, Far Rockaway.
Yeah, because now I didn't read that on Wikipedia. I can just hear it in your voice. I used to work for a company in Garden City, and of course they've got that. What is it? What's the hotel in Garden City? It's been
Garden City. Oh, wow.
Garden City.
Yeah, well, that's,
yeah.
I lived by the beach. That was kind of far away.
Okay, so I know. Okay, so you're in Long Island. You're not necessarily in the city, but do you think New York City is ever going to be the same, Larry?
Now, you mean?
Yes.
Oh, nothing. The United States isn't going to be the same ever. I mean, not like it was. I mean, Norman Rockwell died a long time ago, and they've been trying to resuscitate him, but he's dead, man. However, there's going to be another kind of Norman Rockwell bullshit coming around. It's going to be like, that's what Trump wants. He wants everybody to look like Norman Rockwell paintings and have a dictatorship state, so that's what it's going to be kind of like.
Yeah, there was a Norman Rockwell original that just went at auction and brought like $1.5 million.
Yeah,
it was that when it was a picture of a guy in a Japanese cockpit during World War II.
Really?
Yeah, brought a whole bunch of money. You might want to Google that and check that out if you're a Rockwell fan.
Wow.
But
you know what I thought?
Go ahead.
I thought it was, well, when you said $1.5 million, I thought, it's probably got some kid with freckles in it.
That's usually what it is. It's usually what it is.
Okay.
But I love New York City. It's by far my favorite city, and I have my little places that I go. I have the place I always stay, and the things that I have to do. And just to think that that's not that it's a heartbreaker. We're down here in New Orleans, and we're in a very cultural area, just like New York City is, and it's got its little advantages and its history. And we're blessed down here because we haven't really had the problems that they've had in other places because of our real sense of community here and the fact that we've been integrated forever. In New Orleans, the integration is part of life here. And
wow.
So, we haven't had that problem, but some of these cities, especially New York and Chicago, I kind of quasi grew up in Chicago, and it's a great city. Yeah. It's just hard. It's just hard to sit back and look at all this. And I can imagine for guys that are in your position out there trying to make a living, doing a craft and a trade that's specialized like yours, everything comes to a screeching halt. Who knows? I
wanted to do I used to be a stand-up comedian, like I said, but now that I'm in another, headspace, totally. I have these stories, some of them which I'll tell you or I've told you, but I was going to do a one-man show, like for an HBO special. But there's no theaters that are open anymore. Stand-up comedians, I don't know what they're doing now.
Nothing.
They're not working.
Yeah.
Nothing. So in-person shows like stand-up or like my one-man show, I've had to put on hiatus for at least a year. It's crazy, man.
Okay, all the stuff you've done in front of the camera. Tell me what you think was the best time you ever had.
Oh, there's a couple for different reasons. Escape from Alcatraz was just
I remember you in that.
Well, no, see, I don't remember. I do remember being in it, and I can tell you all about that. No, but when you asked me about what my favorite movies are, being in front of the camera, the best times I had in front of the camera were when I wasn't in front of the camera. It's like talking to the director, or hanging with Clint Eastwood, or hanging with Don Siegel, or watching them shooting something else that I wasn't in,
right,
or being around the movie making production. That to me is what was the turn on.
right.
The being in front of the camera is mostly seconds or minutes. I mean, the camera is never running for more than 3 minutes at any time, in any movie that you ever saw, in any action movie, in any war movie, unless it's a big speech or unless it's a master. And then they never use the master. They just use the master for coverage. So they'll say, okay, we're going to shoot the entire scene now and everybody working, and we're going to just have the camera way back. I'm going to get everybody doing everything. Okay. So as long as that scene takes. Now, no scene in a script. This is one of the rules that nobody knows, that they don't tell you. No scene should be longer than 3 pages. Why? Because it's boring. That's why.
Right. Because
readers don't like to read 5 pages of one scene. They get bored. Unless it's, incredibly written, by, who knows, Dante. I don't know. So if the scene is 3 pages long only in any screenplay, then even the master can only be 3 minutes long. It's a minute a page. So then the thrill of being in a movie is hanging around for 3 months just to get in front of the camera for
3 minutes. Yeah. Hey, real quick.
And you hang around all day.
Real quick. I'm sure that somewhere you've crossed paths with David Chappelle, right? Did you ever cross paths?
No, I never have.
Well,
I've always wanted
I wanted to get your opinion on this, because he just recently did a Netflix stand-up special, and he pretty much announced in that special that he's not doing stand-up anymore. And
why did he say?
He's quitting because of the political correctness and the fact that he
nobody plays college colleges anymore. Yeah.
So I mean, there when you talk about stand up, which I love stand up shows,
wow.
I love them. I mean, I think that's probably the best entertainment you can possibly pay for. I mean, what do you guys like that? You just
it's sad.
You just
can't.
What
they're doing.
Yeah. You can't do nothing.
I don't think he's going to quit entertaining. I don't think he's going to quit being funny. I just think he's going to make movies and stuff like that. And then it's going to go on streaming. So everybody's going to be sitting at home. Yeah. Anyway. So I hope that's what he's going to do. I hope he doesn't just quit the business, man. He's, great.
Well, he's an equal opportunity offender, and I think he's funny.
Yeah.
He's
the best. I just don't. I can't see how he keeps up. How he, puts out that much funny stuff all the time. I mean, he must have writers with him. Obviously, he does have writers. See, that's what I do. I'm doing it all myself. But I guess if you're a star, you can get writers, and then you can turn the stuff out and just make movies. I mean, like I say, it took me easily 4 months to write this one screenplay. And I know other writers who are screenplay writers who take 6 months to write screenplays. So, it's a lot of hard work for no feedback for 6 months until you try to sell it. Whereas stand-up, you just get up on stage and there's your feedback there.
What's Chappelle going to do? Like virtual things, or what? Because
I mean, probably he's just going to write a movie. He's gonna, all his stuff was character stuff. I mean, the Chappelle show, he was just doing, scenes.
I imagine he can get a meeting. He can get a meeting anytime he wants.
Oh.
Well, look, hey, if you do virtual stand up, then you could just drop in your laughs and just
let me
like we do.
Like
baseball, you got the fake baseball crowd, basketball, whatever.
Just like we do.
Well,
just like we do. We drop in our crowd, and our laughs and our whatever crowd.
Well, it doesn't work that way. I mean,
I wanted to ask you about. Can I ask you real quick about Breaking Bad? because you played the character Old Joe.
Can I just ask you guys a question?
Sure.
First, hold that
Man,
question.
I've been sitting here for 20 minutes
when
waiting
you
for
say
that one question.
virtual,
Forget it. That's all right. I'll ask you later. Next time we get you on.
Ted was waiting 20 minutes.
That's okay, man. What do you want to ask us? Go ahead.
I never let him talk either, Larry.
That's all right, Larry. Yeah, he waved me off like 20 minutes ago. That's why I've been sitting here like moping a little bit. But
no, we'll let Larry ask his question. Then I'm going to let you ask. No, you're going to ask the question.
Yes, oh, ask the question.
Ask the question already.
Well, Larry, ask us a question.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. First. Go ahead. Yeah, whatever.
Larry? I forgot the question. The question is, Josh. All right. The question is, when you guys, Bill Maher does that. So many people. Bill Maher does.
Yeah, but he's funny.
Yeah.
Well, but I mean, okay. But even if you are funny, the way, have you ever done stand-up?
I have.
Any of you guys?
I have.
Okay.
I have.
Well, tell me if this is true or not, because this is what I believe is true, is that when you're doing stand-up in front of a real audience,
right,
you are riding their energy.
Yeah, everything goes. Yeah. Your whole show can pivot based on what's going on out there.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. So you really
if you're doing a virtual show, there's no energy feedback, so you'll die every time as funny as you think you are.
It'd be very difficult. Be very difficult.
Yeah, okay. Because I've been trying to, and the reason I asked that question is because I've been trying to do that, trying to figure out how to do stand up to a microphone. I mean, to a video camera, and it's really hard. It ain't what like stand in front of an audience is.
All right, now Larry
was the junkyard owner, and and that was just, it was a great character. I think, weren't you in the movie? The El Camino movie, which was a sequel movie. Well, what was it like working on Breaking Bad? A lot of people got into it, and it had a big following.
I mean, it was the same thing for me. I was a fan of it because I had been watching the show. So when I got the call to even audition, I mean, I was like thrilled. I mean, it wasn't like an audition. I was a fan, and all I thought was I could hang out with Vince Gilligan and Aaron Paul and Bryan Cranston. I mean, it was a totally different vibe for me. So I went to the audition. It was a really simple audition. I had only 5 lines in the beginning when I got the part. I did the 5 lines, and I just did it once. I walked in. It was an empty room, just a chair, a camera, and an assistant, this young woman. And she said, well, you want to talk about it? And I go, no. And she said, okay, then go ahead, So I just she read with me. So that's no big deal because she's not even an actress. So I didn't get any, acting is for 2 people. You feed off one another. Mm-hmm. But she wasn't acting, so I wasn't acting. So I just did my 5 lines. Mm-hmm. And she said, okay. And I knew I wasn't very good because she wasn't very good. So she said, okay, thank you. Mm-hmm. And I said, well, that's it? And she goes, yeah. I go, do you want me to do it again? She says, do you want to do it again? I said, well, if you want me to do it again, I'll do it again. And she said, well, I only wanted you to do it again if you want to do it again. I said, I don't want to do it again. She said, well, you're going to have to do it again. And I said, okay, I'm out of here. And I just left. So I didn't even think I got it. I mean, it was just such a wash and I got it. So I was very thrilled. But when I showed up, let me see, what was my first, the first thing wasn't it was crushing the Winnebago. That was the first time. So I just went and I did that. It was very simple. I did it and it was fine. And then I got a call back and I thought, oh, great. That's really great. That's for the what was that one about? Oh, the magnet.
Electromagnet.
Getting the magnet. So I got a call back for that and I read the part, that they sent me. It's great. It's easy. A couple of lines. Great. I went out there and I get into my Winnebago. They generally leave your part, even though they sent you the part. They leave your part on the desk there in front of the mirror. They always do that. No matter what show, no matter TV, movies, leave your part on the desk there. So I come in and there's not my part, but there's a major speech that covers an entire page, which I have ADHD and I'm dyslexic. So learning lines takes me hours and hours, not minutes. So I couldn't memorize. There's no fucking way I could memorize that entire page in the time I had to go out on, which was they were going to shoot it in 2 hours. No way. I mean, I didn't even. Well, I tried for a couple of seconds. I tried. I know this. I know me. I can't do it. But I didn't tell anybody. I didn't know what to do. So I didn't tell anybody that I don't know my line. This whole speech. So I get out on the set, and the guy says, the director said, "Are you ready?" And I go, "Yeah." He says, "Okay." And I said to him, I said, "Hey, listen, I got a great idea." Because I figured out the only way I could do this, maybe, was if they broke up the speech and did it like, cut two, cut two, cut two. So if, you cut to me 5 times, because there's Brian and Aaron are in the Winnebago. I'm mixing up the 2 scenes, but this is how it happened. Brian and Cranston were in the Winnebago. I had a big speech that I didn't know, and there was a cop. It was the first one. Yeah, it was. And the cop was out there. Right. So the big speech was for me to keep the cop out of the Winnebago because they're hiding in there. And the speech is entirely legalese about why the cop, by law, can't go in there. And it was a long speech of legal crap. That's why I couldn't memorize. It was just legal stuff.
Crazy.
So the director says, "Okay, you ready?" And I go, "Yeah, I'm ready." Because I figured I was going to be fired. That's really why I was so calm. I figured I'm going to be fired. So, okay, next job. Fine. So, I'm really
the worst
cool.
thing that can happen isn't that bad.
Yeah, worst thing is I get fired. So he goes, "Okay," he says, "No, we're not going to break it up. We're going to just shoot it. Walk and talk. Get about 100 feet down there, and you just keep walking towards the camera, and we'll shoot the whole thing, and you go home today, right? Right after that. Yeah, we'll do it in one take." And I'm going, "I'm going to be fired. You don't know this yet, but I'm going to be fired."
Give me 3 takes and I'm going to be out of here.
Smiling. So he gets me down 100 feet off, and he goes, "You ready, Larry?" And I go, "Yeah." I figured, well, I'll improvise it. What the hell? I was in the committee. I was in Second City. I can improvise it. So, and I don't care. I'm going to be fired. It doesn't matter. So he goes, "Okay, and action, Larry." So I knew the first line. To say my first line, and then I'm improvising the whole thing. Blah, 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 blah. Legalese. You can't go in there. You can't go in there. And I get to the end, and he goes, "Okay, cut." Now I'm here. I'm ready for, "Okay, Larry, you're fired." He goes, "Okay, great. Okay, let's do it again. Just get back there, and we'll just shoot it once more." I go, "What the fuck? I just memorized that whole thing? That's amazing. Now I don't have to worry because this is coverage now. So even if I fuck up, he's got it. It's in the can. I'm cool. Yeah. Wow, am I great?" So I get back 100 feet off, and he says, "You ready, Larry?" And I say, "Yeah, come on." And then I see the script girl coming towards me. Now, I don't know if you know what it's a lady. I don't know why they call her a girl. But it's this woman. And she comes marching up to me with the book, with the script.
And they're serious. Pencil. They're serious about stuff, them script girls.
Oh,
They're hardcore. They're like accountants.
They're hardcore.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, man. She's got a pencil poised. That's a bad sign. When she's got a pencil up in the air. Because, she's going to circle something. So she comes walking to me, and I already know that she's going to correct something. And I'm, jaunty jolly because, all right. So I say to her, okay, what word did I forget? And she just the same thing. She just shows me the script, and every other word is circled. I've never seen a script like that with so many things. And I look at her, and she says, "These are all the things you missed. It's amazing." I say, "Okay, yeah, but I got the gist of it, right?" And she says, "The director wants you to say it verbatim." And I go, "Oh, okay." And I still won't cop. I still will not cop. And I hear the director from the 100 feet down there. He goes, "Hey, Larry, is there anything wrong?" I go, no, nothing's wrong. He's just, okay. And then he starts walking towards me. And I say, okay, now if he's walking towards me, this is bad. I'm going to get fired, but it's going to be bad. It's going to be a bad firing. So he comes walking up to me and he doesn't say anything.
Mm-hmm.
He says, is there something wrong? And I go, no, I'm just going to do it again, right? And he goes, okay. And then the cameraman yells, the cinematographer yells, is there anything wrong, Sid? And Sid yells back, no, I'm just going to walk with my actor. So I'm going to be here. So I go, and I in my mind, I go, no, you're not going to walk with me. This is like baby time. This is kindergarten. Just fire me, please. And he goes, no, we're going to walk. He says, you ready, Larry? And I go, yeah. Because, I mean, I'm not into this at all. I mean, I'm just, this is dance time. So he goes, okay. So he says, okay, Larry, action. And I just do the same thing I did before. Blah, 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 blah. I'm making it up. I'm improvising legalese. I'm doing it. So I get down there. At the end, he says, cut. And then he turns to me and he goes, thank you, Larry. That was great. And he says, okay, moving on. And I go, what the hell just happened?
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't, nothing. He didn't say bad. He didn't say good. He didn't say what. He just said, okay, here's your limo. Go back, you go back to the production office.
Wow.
Because we were out in the middle of the desert.
Yeah.
So do you hear that?
Yeah,
I gotta hang
now.
this. Okay, I gotta hear this. But
so they used it, right? So you did it again.
Well, yeah. So I waited 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Well, I waited 2 weeks to see what I did, and what they did was very simple. They just used all my improvisation as a voiceover. If you look at the screen, I did improvise.
Yeah.
Correct legalese. It wasn't what he had written. But it was legal enough and long enough for them to just cobble it together and put it as a voiceover.
That's
so
awesome.
I was on screen for maybe, I would say, 5 seconds, 2 seconds per line that I memorized or that was correct.
Wow.
So that's amazing, man.
Where do they film those scenes out there in the desert? Where was that?
Out in the middle of the desert in
New Mexico?
Utah, New Mexico.
Oh, really?
New Mexico.
It was in New Mexico where it was supposed to take place.
Well, Vince Gilligan was making so much money out of that episode, that series, that he built a studio out in the middle of the desert.
Right.
Well, I mean, not in the middle of the desert, right out of the suburbs, but we traveled for, I think, 45 minutes out into the desert to get to that junkyard, which was in the middle of the desert.
So Larry, are you on the socialist media? Do you participate in any of the socialist media?
Yeah, Facebook.
Facebook. Okay, good.
That's it.
So if we were to follow you on Facebook, we would be able to get maybe updates on your screenplay and things that's going on with you, right?
Oh no. Yeah, I mean, yes, but if you're going to do that for that, no, go to my website. That has everything on it.
Okay, give us the website.
The website, and for everybody out there, is thereallarryhankin.com. That's one word, thereallarryhankin.com, because somebody stole LarryHankin.com and is holding me up for a lot of money, and I won't pay it.
You love that?
Yeah, that's bitch, man. That's crazy. Yeah,
that's a pimp smack. That's a pimp smack right there.
Main names.
That's a pimp smack.
So thereallarryhankin.com or Larry Hankin on Facebook. But most of the stuff that I have, and you'll be surprised at what I have on thereallarryhankin.com. I mean, I'm a painter. I make all my film shorts are on there.
Oh, good.
And my bio is on there. And
the stock photo that we're using for this live stream's on there.
Say that again?
The stock photo for this live stream that we're doing right now is from your very own website. Credit to you.
Oh, great.
Now listen, if we wanted in the future, like we do some live shows too on YouTube and Facebook, we do some of those.
Oh yeah.
Do we have your permission to maybe, as we follow you, maybe share some things off your website?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah. That way.
I mean, could you? Would you let me know? At least say, hey, Larry, I just no, but you can. It's just I'd like to know because I'd like to watch it. Whoever I know.
Well, if you go on our Facebook, Nick, tell them about it. How does he get to our Facebook?
You go to Facebook and you type in, you search All Over the Road, New Orleans.
Oh, okay, cool. I'm
All
gonna
over the
write
road
that
in
down.
New
I'm gonna
Orleans.
write that down.
And I'm gonna, as soon as we're done with this video, I'm gonna tag you in this video that we made today, so you should be able to see it.
And then what I'll also do is once the podcast is edited, because we'll edit the podcast, we put all kinds of elements and bells and whistles in it, post-production stuff like everybody else. Well, I'll make sure that I'll text you a copy of that and you can share that and we'll get all that.
Okay.
And we'll
all kinds of sound effects, just all kinds of
sound effects.
Larry.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Just like the old days. Just like the old
This
days.
was one of the most tame shows that we've ever done because we did the most active listening.
Okay, well, put some farts in then.
And we're like, we've got a problem with genre ourselves because just the name of our podcast is All Over the Road, New Orleans. We really don't have a genre.
Yeah, we just like to be kind of funny, and we're out of New Orleans. It's like kind of
so we're just anything. We talk about it. We've had all kinds of people on here, different people, and
well, I mean, you're a podcast though, right?
Yes.
I mean, that's a genre, isn't it?
I guess so.
Well, yeah, but we're
well, I know what you're talking about. That's like saying all movies are the same.
Yeah, we're not weaving baskets here.
Or like doing fantasy.
Yeah, okay.
You know,
cool. Yeah. No, but I know what you mean because there's movies and there's genre. There's
listen, and we definitely want to have you on again. We can have you on again sometime. Is that okay?
Cool. Oh, that's great.
Hey, man, we really thank you for spending time. This has been a very, very entertaining interview. You're the man. Larry Hankin, ladies and gentlemen.
You guys are the guys.
Appreciate Larry.
This was a real pleasure. Thank you so much.
Hey, Larry.
Thank you, guys.
Hey, look. Before you get off, can you say? Can you do a little liner for us? Just say, hey, this is Larry Hankin in Hollywood, and I love listening to All Over the Road New Orleans podcasts or something like that. Just give us a little.
All right, here you go. Okay, ready? Okay. Hey, this is Larry Hankin, and I'm listening to, and I am on All Over the Road, New Orleans. These guys are all over the road, man.
Perfect.
Larry, that was awesome.
Yeah, man.
Thanks.
I love it.
Give him some applause, Vic.
Oh, here you go. Thank you, Larry.
Hey!
Tell him there's water out around.
God bless you, baby.
Goodbye, guys.
Goodbye. We'll be in touch. Larry Hankin, ladies and gentlemen.
Thanks, Larry.
All right. That's Larry.
There he was. Very entertaining. I could just tell by his accent he was from Long Island because I've got an association with a lot of people in Long Island. I want to do a shout out to the Perellas. Jonathan Perella, Joey Perella, Eugene Perella, all the Perellas out in Long Island, Garden City. They've had some problems with COVID. My friend Jonathan Perella, his mother passed away of COVID. And so my prayers are still with you. And Jonathan, you're a good man. We love you. We absolutely love you. Okay. All right. So, hey, I guess the other things are gonna have to wait till the next show.
Oh, yeah.
Larry took up all the time.
Larry was the show.
He was the show.
He started off a little slow, but he got pretty interesting.
Yeah.
You know, it's pretty good.
More on the Announcer Guy contest coming up. Stay tuned to Facebook and all of our socialist media outlets for more information on that. On the next show, we're going to bring this guy in that just doesn't get it.
Just doesn't understand.
Well, but you can always call 601.
Route 66
and record your best announcer guy.
Your best announcer guy.
We're looking valuable prize.
We're looking for more. We're looking for more content. So it's 601 Route 66 for Ted Semper, executive producer Nick Vobel. I'm Victor Del Giorno, the president and CEO of the All Over the Road Podcast Network.
Mind your money.
So long.
We're gonna take a couple shows by you, okay? It's all over. We're all over the road. We got a brand new show, so just